This is Mrs. Wainwright's Math Class, Chapter 10, Lessons 10.1, 10.2, and 10.3, Part 3. Our lesson today will be converting customary units with two different things. The first is when we're turning two units into one unit, and the second is when you have a remainder, what to do with it. But before we begin, did you hear the news? King Henry drinks unusually dark chocolate milk, many large gulps. Remember that. So learning target number 1 is, I can make conversions of customary units when I have to turn two units into one unit. This learning target will go along with example number 1 in today's lesson. Learning target number 2, I can make conversions of customary units when I have a remainder. This learning target will go along with example 2 in today's lesson. The examples will have various customary units, so if necessary, look back at your Chapter 10 packet conversion charts found on pages A and B. Remember, you do have to have those charts memorized for the test. Example number 1, 2 miles 20 yards equals blank yards. So I definitely can see here that I have something different than I've ever seen before. I have the 2 units. What to do? Well, we start the way we normally start. We write our given unit and then our unknown unit. 2 miles 20 yards are given. Blank yards is the unknown. Now to solve this, I simply focus in on the first given unit and I wait on the next one. So I'm going to say 2 miles equals how many yards? Same way that I've solved all these problems before. 2 miles equals blank yards. Okay, so miles to yards, miles are larger, that is large to small. Large to small means that I multiply. Take my number, which is 2, my operation, which I wrote down, which is times, and now I need to look up and see how many yards there are in a mile. And yards and miles are length, so I look at my length conversions to find my yards and mile conversion, and here it is right here. The number that's not 1 is 1,760, so there are 1,760 yards in 1 mile. 1,760 yards in a mile. So now we know that we have to do some scrap paper to figure out what that answer is. You know me, I like the lazy man way. It's faster to solve with most digits at top. So I'm going to say 1,760 times 2. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 6 is 12. Put down the 2, carry the 1. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. Put down the 5, carry the 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So I have 3,520. And that can go in this line right here because 2 miles is 3,520 yards. But remember, I still have this extra yards up here that I will need to add on to that answer. So I go back to my scrap and I'm going to add the 20 extra yards to that. 0 plus 0 is 0. 2 plus 2 is 4. 5 plus nothing is 5. 3 plus nothing is 3. So I will take that. That is now my final answer, and that can go up into my final answer line. So I have 3,540 yards. So I put that back into my original problem. 2 miles, 20 yards equals 3,540 yards, and that's my final answer. Please stop the video and complete worksheet numbers 1 and 2 right now. Example number 2. Convert 62 inches into feet. My known is 62 inches. My unknown is feet. As always, I write down my known first. 62 inches equals blank feet. And again, as always, look at my units. Which one is larger, inches or feet? Feet are larger, they got the large, inches is smaller. Small to large means that I divide. Write down my given number, which is 62. The operation that I just chose, which is division. Hopefully by now I know how many inches are in a foot. And inches and feet comparison, there are 12 inches in a foot. There are 12 inches in a foot. That is my conversion. I'm going to do some scrap paper, and I'll divide 62 divided by 12. 12 does not go into 6, but it does go into 62, so this will be a single-digit answer. Well, 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72 too high. Put one finger down. My answer is 5. 5 times 12 is 60. Subtract. 2 minus 0 is 2. 6 minus 6 is nothing. Compare, is 2 less than 12? Yes, it is. There's nothing to bring down, and I do have a remainder. Let's underline this scrap in red so it doesn't get confused. So my number here is 5, remainder 2. What does that mean? Well, what that means is there are 5 feet in 62 inches, but there are 2 inches still left over. So the remainder is how many of the smaller unit is still left over. You just write it in as that unit. So my final answer is 62 inches equals 5 feet, because that was my large unit and that was my division answer, and my remainder became 2 inches, which was the original unit that I started with. So 62 feet equals 5 feet 2 inches, and that is my final answer. So again, when you have a remainder, it turns into an extra amount of the smaller unit. Please stop the video and complete worksheet numbers 3, 4, and 5 right now. So let's review. When given a problem where you have 2 units and you need to turn it into 1 unit, you write the known equals the unknown as usual, and then you take the first unit equals the unknown, write that down, solve that problem to get the answer, and then you take the additional smaller unit and add that on to that answer. That will give you your final answer for the problem. When given a regular conversion and you wind up having a remainder, your whole number turns into the first part of the answer with the new unit, and your remainder turns into a second part of the answer going back and using the original unit. So 62 inches equaled 5 feet and 2 inches. Hopefully by now you can confidently say with learning target number 1, I can make conversions of customary units when I have to turn 2 units into 1 unit. And with learning target number 2, I can make conversions of customary units when I have a remainder. As always, we will be practicing in class. If you have any questions or concerns, please see a teacher so we can sit down and work with you. Good luck with this lesson.